Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Panther Pod. We are here today with Cintya Felix, the SGA President of Chapman. Welcome, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So today I wanted to get to know you, have all of Chapman get to know, the face of their president, and just find out a little bit more about where you're from, your background, and what you want to do after Chapman.
Well, my name is Cynthia. I am a senior. I'm originally from Tijuana, Baja California, which is across the border. Maybe you've been there. I am studying political science and Spanish with a minor in economics, and I aspired to do law, civil rights law.
What made you want to go into law?
Well, my whole life, it's been marked by movement. I've moved 13 times during my life.
Where?
Well, I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, but when I was 5, unfortunately, my mom was deported.
Oh, yeah.
And so I grew up most of my life across the border, which was a beautiful experience, I would say, because I was really in touch with my culture. And I'm 100% fluent in Spanish. I'm a translator. And I grew up with my grandparents. And I learned a lot about immigration because in my hometown, the Central American caravans were constantly present. And so as a teen, I would see so many churches and shelters be full of people from all across the world.
So if you don't mind me asking, what was that experience like of your mom getting deported for you?
Well, I was really young. I didn't know what was happening. To be honest with you, I thought we were going on vacation. And so I grew up in Mexico seeing all these immigration and legal systems develop after my eyes, and that instilled that little seed in me that I wanted to join that world so I can be part of the decision making and having our voices represented at the greater scale.
Right, and kind of change the law from inside, right?
Yeah, I thought, why not me? There are so many cool people. I feel every time I meet a lawyer, they have their life put together and they're doing something meaningful, whether it's in the business field or entertainment or immigration, or like your sister, you were telling me earlier, doing work with youth and helping people,
Yeah. So going into immigration law, would you talk a little bit about what your ambitions are there?
Well, there are a lot of developments happening at the national level right now, and I feel as though immigrants deserve due process,
of course,
in their language,
yeah,
and that there should be more protections and guidelines for how to navigate when you come across an ICE agent or non-ICE agents who pose as ICE agents. And there are a lot of misinformation and fake news in Spanish. The Spanish-speaking community tends to fall victim of a lot of information and AI that is not currently being regulated on Facebook in particular.
So what was your journey towards coming to Chapman University?
Well, after my mom was pardoned by the United States, after 10 years, when I was 15, I moved back to Orange County. And so I moved to the city of Anaheim. I live 3 minutes away from Disneyland. And Chapman is about 15 minutes away from here. I didn't speak English, so it was kind of hard to navigate high school. I kind of hated going to class. I only went to school because I love playing soccer.
What position were you?
I was a goalkeeper, actually.
Oh, you were a goalkeeper?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I still do it for fun during the weekends.
Yeah.
And I love playing soccer because everyone in my team spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have to think about translating it in my brain. And my coach was amazing. He was a great mentor. And so eventually, my school brought us for a campus tour here. It was my very first campus tour.
Yeah.
And I went to many more campus tours, like Cal State Fullerton, UCI, USC, UCLA, whatnot, all the local ones. But the only school that offered me that personalized attention was Chapman. At the time, the tour guide noticed that I was not keeping up with the tour, and a couple of other students were also a part of the English language development program, which means that you're not an English speaker yet. And so she took it upon herself to give us the tour in Spanish. And I actually understood the whole thing, which I didn't have that experience anywhere else. By the time I graduated high school, I became valedictorian.
Wow.
And I was admitted like to a bunch of schools with great financial aid.
Yeah.
And people told me like, why didn't you go to Berkeley or like USC? And I was like, dude, because Chapman cared about me when I had nothing, you know?
That's an incredible story. That's really inspiring. So what was your journey like learning English in high school?
Well, I went to a Title I school, which means that most students receive free and or reduced price lunch. Right. And we had a lot of underrepresented or underserved populations in our school, which meant that it was heavily Black and brown students, and many of them spoke Spanish. And so they taught me English more than my classes, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really incredible. So then coming to Chapman, was that a big shift in your environment?
It definitely was. I don't think I had like met a white person until I came to Chapman.
That's so funny.
I know, it's so funny because when I immigrated to the United States, I first thought like the whole US was just like Caucasian people.
Yeah.
But then I realized it was such a diverse country that it was built by immigrants.
Right.
And here at Chapman, people were very open to teaching me about their own cultures and to listening about my culture. And I know that President Strupa at the time had announced that he wanted Chapman to become a Hispanic serving institution, which aligned with my values. And I thought it was a very special thing to do when you want students to come to your university and feel welcomed and included regardless of your religion or ethnicity or income status. Whatever you want, you can accomplish here.
So would you tell me what HSI or a Hispanic Serving Institution actually is?
So HSI is a status that a university can reach by having 25% of their population consist of Latinx or Hispanic students, but also aligning your resources to serve them.
I see.
You can think of HBCUs where they serve the Black population, but in this instance, it would be Hispanic students. There's also a category for serving Asian and Pacific Islander students.
So I read that one of your goals is that by the time you graduate Chapman, for it to be an HSI. Is that correct?
Oh, show me where you found that, because
I saw it.
I hope I didn't say that, because I don't think we're on track to do that yet. I think we're at 18% right now, and it's a lot of work from admissions.
Right.
At the time, President Strupa had announced it, and we partnered to help continue that vision.
So as SGA president, is there anything you've done to work towards that goal?
My initiative as a senator before I was president, since I was freshman, sophomore, I co-established the first Latina sorority on campus, the first multicultural Greek organization on campus, Omega Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And that organization actually empowers women of color to give back to the community and become the best version of themselves. I attribute a lot of my successes thanks to that organization, since I've been mentored by Latina women in their fields, Latina attorneys, doctors, and I don't think I would have gotten that network otherwise. And we continue to strive to continue that cycle with other women. And I think that resulted in me becoming the first Latina student body president at Chapman.
That's huge. That's a huge accomplishment. So obviously you've accomplished so much already, and I would have to guess that a lot of it is obviously from your own work ethic.
You're too nice.
But also having mentors is a huge thing. Is there anything that you really learned from your mentors that has helped you accomplish so much already?
I think I got really lucky that even before I started Chapman, I was checking my email, and I was part of the First Gen newsletter, and they had a job posting at the Office of Legal Affairs, which is the office that represents the university as a whole for any contracts, litigation, and whatnot. And so at the time, the Vice President of Legal Affairs was Janine Dumantel, an Argentinian woman. Yeah. And so she started mentoring me on what to do to prepare myself to become a competitive candidate for law school. So since I was a freshman, she was telling me, hey, you should look into getting involved, make sure your GPA is good, and this and that, declare a minor, and things I had no idea about, she was telling me.
What are some initiatives that you're doing right now as SGA president for the Chapman community and the students here?
I'm glad you asked because we have so many going on. We're trying to deliberately spend our money to put it back in the pockets of the students, since we do have a little bit of a surplus. And one that I think students would be really excited about is our health vending machine that will have products so that students can access things that the Student Health Center offers, but 24/7 in the dorms. So we're gonna pilot it in a month in Davis Community Center. And if it goes well, we're gonna put it in other residence halls like Panther Village and Court and Grand. And what that means is that students can swipe and get certain items for free. With a limit, of course, so you can't like profit or something like that. We don't want people to game the system.
Reselling.
Right, because it would be like free or at a price that is very accessible and not like breaking their bank if they need like Band-Aids or like allergy pills or headache pills or pads and whatnot.
Right. So I was going to ask, what are the types of items that we're going to be seeing in these vending machines?
Yeah, sure. I'm actually working with our School of Pharmacy Senator and Dr. Andrew Kami from the Health Center to inform the products in the vending machine based on what students actually ask for. And what that looks like is headache pills, birth control, condoms, what else? Oh, I just bought it. I just bought this on Amazon myself since we're sending it to the vendor.
So is it all going to be free for students? Or
Not everything.
Not everything.
It'll be like at a very, very low cost for certain items, like a handful. There will be about 42 items in the machine. I don't have them memorized.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
But you can probably list it in your video if you want after I can send it to you.
For sure.
But most items will be free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some other initiatives that you guys are working towards right now?
We are investing in some longer term projects. I'm not sure if you're familiar with AF 119, which is across Qdoba. Not Qdoba, Jamba Juice downstairs.
No, please tell.
It's the room where a bunch of student organizations used to perform or to rehearse, like tap and whatnot. And so we're gonna fix the acoustics so that maybe like the Chaptones or Simply Vocal can use it to rehearse. And we're also gonna replace the floor, and the patio adjacent to that room will be more cozy, like Starbucks patio where students can actually study.
I see.
And we're gonna have like some fenestra, fairy lights, and students will be able to hang out there because we want more student-centered spaces on campus.
Nice.
Other than that, another project we have going on is we have what's it called? Another project we have is scholarships for students who want to join Greek Life. Mm-hmm. And we already have that going on right now. If you want to join a Greek organization, you can apply to the scholarship through student government, but we're going to extend it to professional Greek organizations like DKA, Kappa Alpha Pi, like the Pre-Law and Dodge and the business ones, and also honor societies. Anything that you have to pay for, we can help subsidize the cost.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's really exciting. So obviously you've been working a lot in student government and obviously making a lot of compromises, coming up with proposals. What's the biggest thing that you've learned through this whole process?
I think the biggest thing I've learned was that the administrators on campus are never against you. I used to antagonize like the administration a lot and be like, why is not President Strupa like divesting from the military complex, you know? And I think we reserve the right to criticize our systems because we pay our tuition. But I think a lot of campus partners like Matt Parlow are open to fruitful discussions. And they do take the student voice very seriously because we're the ones paying the bills after all.
Right. So you brought up the Strupa's divestment situation. If we can get into this a little bit, What is, obviously the students have been protesting and there's been a lot of activism against that. How is the school defending its position right now?
Yeah, I'm meeting with Student for Justice in Palestine this Wednesday to see how we can help them bridge that conversation, because obviously I feel they're gonna continue to protest, and it would be good to be that liaison between admin and students.
So you work closely with the Promising Young Futures program. Would you explain exactly what that is first, and then how you hope through your presidency to further support this group?
So the Promising Futures program is responsible for the Summer Bridge program, which is orientation, but for first-gen students a couple weeks before they start school, and they get paired with mentors who have a similar career path, major, or maybe hometown, so they can transition into college in a smooth way, and they follow up on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, throughout the academic year. I'm a part of it. I've been doing it since I was a freshman, and I was mentored through that program, and I'm also really grateful for my orientation leaders. As to how that relates to SGA, my presidency, I think I've been doing this in an informal way where I recruit a lot of the first-gen population to join and run for student government.
Really?
I don't know if you know Jason Wu Chen. He's our amazing director of PR. He was one of my summer bridgies 2 years ago. And I saw a spark in him and his talent, and I encouraged him to run for first-year senator. And he did it and had this crazy campaign, which drove me nuts, to be honest with you, because I was director of elections then, and I had to make sure that he was following like all the guidelines and not violating like dimension rules. And honestly, it was like a headache. It was so bad. But he ended up winning, and we continue to encourage more first-gen students to join decision-making spaces like this, because as much as I say, I don't think students realize how much power you could have through Senate. We oversee about $1 million, and you get to vote on it. I can't believe they gave someone like me this job. Like, I don't feel like a real adult to like oversee a budget of this magnitude.
Yeah. So how has your experience as a first-generation student, first off, inspired you moving forward, and your perspective that you brought to Chapman?
To be quite honest with you, I didn't think I was going to graduate high school at first. I wasn't sure if higher ed was something meant for me. And the Promising Futures program, along with their partnerships with admissions, made me realize that I belonged here, and propelled me to join SGA, to join other student orgs, to speak up and be part of really cool spaces. You know, I didn't realize I would be like speaking with donors, the board of trustees, helping like future scholarships come to Chapman. About 2-3 weeks ago, we had the Marymount Education Foundation come to Chapman to sign a memorandum of understanding with Chapman, which means that they are committing to investing in full ride scholarships for students. They're piloting the program with 4 to 6 scholarships, but in the long term, they're looking to do like 50, 60 full ride scholarships for students, which is I think very impactful.
Yeah. So you have a very inspiring story, obviously, of coming from a lower privileged community and a lower funded a high school, and now coming here and being the president of the school. Do you have any advice for other first-gen students who are here and might not have found their footing yet?
I think for anyone who feels like an outsider, like not just first-gen students, feeling like an outsider is a natural feeling, but what makes you break through is doing something about it, and actively going out of your way to make yourself a remarkable person. I commute, and I have a lot of friends who commute, and I get a lot of questions from first-year students who are commuters who say, how do you do it so that you're as involved as a residential student. And what you have to do is intentionally, meaningfully place yourself in spaces, organizations, jobs where you are improving yourself, and being on campus like in person, I would say, is something really beneficial. I know we're in the era of like digital presence being very accessible, but in-person interactions have been key for my success at least.
What is the lasting impact that you want to have on the Chapman community and also going forward into grad school and eventually becoming an attorney? What is the impact that you want to have?
This is a loaded question. You're asking me like, you only live once, what are you gonna do? At Chapman, I hope, at least in student government at first, create a plan so that we're using all of our money every year so that students benefit from their funds, not only in concerts and fun events, but in things that can improve their education, whether it's like expanded fitness facilities or deposits for insulin and needles in the bathrooms for students who have diabetes, or projects that are intentionally placed so they're irreversible, like they cannot be removed and they're here permanently as long as someone renews them when they're no longer good, like if they expire or if like something goes bad. Beyond that, I really want to join the Alumni Association and give back to Chapman by being active through that and mentoring other students through the Panther Network. I think I do see myself joining like the board of trustees one day. I hope I have the money. You know, I want to succeed in my career so I can invest back into Chapman. To be a board of trustees, you have to make a monetary contribution to Chapman. And so that contributes to student scholarships like you and me. And I think I really would want to do that, you know?
Yeah. So what does succeeding in your career look like for you?
Passing the bar eventually. Practicing in the field of public interest law and civil rights and immigration and tenant, landlord protections, employment and labor law, and maybe joining like the judicial branch of the government, maybe like an appellate, like what's the word? When you join the branch of the government that reviews appeals. That would be like the Supreme Court of California, something like that, and to feel fulfilled about my work, you know?
So is this the beginning of your political career, or is this just a one-time thing?
I think everything's political. Like what you wear, what you eat, you know, like where you place your vote. And if I happen to join like maybe a city council or the board of Orange County supervisors, I think it would be natural. And I would love that, you know. I think it's a possibility one day. I don't want to be too braggy about it, you know.
So how can students reach out to you and get their voices heard?
They can text me, email me. I have my SGA President at Chapman.edu email. I have my student email, CI at Chapman.edu. You can put my phone number out there. I really don't mind. I'm an open book.
I won't do that.
I am an open book, truly.
Yeah, but if this is going on YouTube, you don't want that going out to the world.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, but thank you so much. Is there anything left that you want to say?
No, you're very thorough. I really enjoyed speaking about myself, but what this is all about is about students, and you're my boss. We have this chart of like the SGA student government structure where it's like me on top, but guess who's on top of me? Undergraduate students. Because you pay your student activity fee for us to serve you back. And although we are students just like you and we have our own schedules, we make it our mission to really embrace our mission of serving students and improving the lives of every single one of you.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Everyone, feel free to reach out, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.